Hello, welcome to Staring Down the Storm, Autism Advocacy in America. I'm your host, Tabitha Ziegler.
Okay, welcome everybody to the podcast. I'm very excited today because we have a very cool guest. Miss Molly Lang from Noble is here to talk with us today about all the fun things that Noble does. So I will give Molly the floor and just let her tell you a little bit about herself and her background and how she came to work at Noble.
Okay, thank you for having me. So I have a pretty long history with Noble. Started back in 2001 when I was 24. So I was just finishing up my psychology degree, working at a boutique in Broad Ripple, wanted something different, opened up the yellow pages, as you did back then, and found Noble along with a couple other organizations. So came for a tour to learn more about Noble. I guess then, as we all know, we were short-staffed, so I was hired right on the spot. I didn't have any experience working with individuals except for family with disabilities, so they took that as a strength and interest. So started working as a instructor, but they're called DSPs now, which is direct support professional. So I did that from 2001 to 2007, took on more of an administrative role, kind of like a case manager to attend meetings of individuals here. Then I left for about 3 years to finish up my master's in social work. Returned in 2010 as an autism coordinator. We really wanted to get Noble on the map with autism services. So I came back, really connected with the autism community, doing public speaking. I did Manchester College and different teacher groups. I don't know, I was just kind of trying to really get connected with everybody and just really focus on education. What is autism? So kind of Autism 101. And then, so 2010 turned into, 2013, which then I got trained in ABA. So we did the ABA thing. Unfortunately, changes in insurance didn't allow our program to really grow as we wanted it to. So then I switched on to behavior services. So because I have my master's in social work, I was able to do that role. So from it was 2011 I started that. 2011 until now, I'm a behavior consultant, as well as now the director of therapy services with Noble, music, recreation, and behavior. So getting a little bit more, intimate with my start with Noble, I ended up meeting my husband here back in 2001. On my tour that day when I got hired, I saw him leaning against a door frame and I was like, he's really cute. Fast forward to 2010, we got married in the garden here at Noble, and his father worked here. That's why he had a couple summer job opportunities here. And gosh, I feel like I've just grown up here. I'm 47 now and I was 24.
Let's not be ashamed of our age here.
Nope, it's fine. 24 to the age I am now, proudly, and just doing all the different things Noble has to offer, from being a DSP to working out in the community with individuals to doing some clerical stuff, and just absolutely falling in love with who Noble is, what they offer, the individuals that are involved in all the programs, just amazing folks. And I really just feel things happen for a reason. I don't know, I just coming to Noble and then how my life has just kind of outlaid, it's just seems like it's all been meant to be, just with my education and all of that good stuff. So yeah, Noble's been a big part of my life. Did I mention I got married here? I think I did quickly.
You did.
I did quickly.
Yeah, so
that was pretty cool.
A really cool fact is I've met several people this morning because I got a quick tour of Noble. A lot of the people that do services here, what they offer, and it really is an amazing facility. I was actually quite shocked at how much they had and how many of the staff have been here for a significant amount of time.
Yes.
So would you like to speak about a few of the people that you introduced me to and how long they've been here and what they've contributed to Noble?
So Jeanette, she's our front receptionist, and she's she's the spoke, she's the wheel, she's the, going back to an 80s reference, she's the gatekeeper, keymaster. She knows everything about Noble. She's the first face that you see when you come to our Noble East Side location. So 35 years, and she started also working in the teams. So I think she said all but 5 years she's been sitting at that front desk. So she was a DSP, or an instructor back then, for 5 years, and since then she's been the administrative assistant, and she knows concerned moms that call. She knows how to kind of quell their fears. She knows just the ins and outs of different personalities. She knows how to she knows the codes to everything. I mean, she's the person to go to. As a VC, if I would hear about a challenge that one of the individuals I was experiencing, it will most likely have maybe occurred in Jeanette's site, so she would be able to give me some feedback and help me out to find the possible reason why something happened. She just knows everything. And who else did you meet? I'm trying to think. A lot of individuals that have come here for a very long time. Gosh, she couldn't even put a year on it, but I'm pretty sure she was younger than high school when she started here. Which once I do want to talk about Noble's kind of origin story. So many of the people that still attend the day programs were very young when they started here. So back in 1953, there were a group of parents of kids with disabilities, and they wanted more for their kids. Doctors were telling them, oh, just institutionalize your child. Your child will never talk. Your child will never contribute to society. Your child will never do anything. And these parents did not want to accept that. So
yeah, fair play to them.
Right. So with their energy and their desire for more for their children, we started Noble School. So it was downtown on Noble Street. So that's how we got the name. So because these parents had such tenacity and faith in their children's abilities, we came about Noble. So it started out as a Noble School, and then it became all of these other wonderful programs for kids and adults with autism.
That's really
and
amazing.
Other disabilities, sorry.
Well, and if you do a little digging, you'll find out that Indiana was the first state. I think it was either 1901 or 1907. I'll have to go back and fact check. But basically started the whole institutionalization of people, which is a dirty, little-known fact of Indiana history, but I think definitely worth talking about considering some of the things that are currently on our plate, because nobody wants to go back there. It didn't serve anyone. Locking people up without services didn't do anything but separate families and basically just make a horrible existence of whatever life these people had, and then their families didn't have much of a choice once the courts got into play and decided that their family shouldn't have a decision, that this was just something that was going to happen. So can you speak a little bit about some of the different things currently going on with the state with autism services and how that affects Noble?
Noble is definitely keeping our ear to the ground. We have not felt anything, specifically yet, but we are keeping up with what's kind of going on federally and within Indiana. We want to ensure families that things are okay right now. We are still continuing with services, but we don't really have any concrete examples of anything that is currently affecting Noble or its programs. So most of our funding is through the Medicaid waiver. We also take Title 20, and then traumatic brain injury waiver is another kind. But so far we've been able to continue with all of our services as they stand currently.
Can you speak a little bit more, because I'm unfamiliar
Sure.
with the traumatic brain facet of the waiver. And I'm just kind of delving into the waiver. Actually, my children, they're still on the waiting list. Like a lot of other families, it's about a 2.5 year waiting list once you get on. So for the people that are currently participating in the waiver, can you speak about the differences between the different waiver programs that you just mentioned?
Sure. So I honestly don't know too much about the traumatic brain injury waiver, but so the Medicaid waiver used to be in different forms, but now it's the Family Support Service waiver and the CIH waiver, which is the larger waiver.
Okay.
So that's for persons who need more supports due to environmental needs. Caregiver is over the age of 80. There are a lot of significant behavioral issues that are impeding the person from really fully integrating into their environment. Then the Family Support Services waiver, that's where the majority of persons have supports. So they can do day programs and the like through Noble, is mostly that.
And you mentioned that you have several sites. So how many communities do you actually serve? And if you had to guess, I don't expect you to memorize all of this right now, if you had to guess about approximately how many people cycle through your sites?
Oh my gosh. I can say that, so we are all the way up in Hamilton County. So different programs like behavior services, we can be west side, east side, north and south. I supported individuals in New Pal. We haven't gone as far. We have persons who are looking for services in Danville. We haven't really stretched out that far. But gosh, in terms of how many people, I don't even know. I would say thousands of people, every year are getting services from day program to work integration to the summer camps that we have for kiddos and some adults. Oh my gosh, I probably have to look at my cheat sheet for this.
That's fine. I'm not expecting you to memorize, like I said, but
yes.
we spoke about a lot of these things. And I
Mm-hmm.
had asked her because a lot of the people that I happened to meet whenever I was doing my tour were adults.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked, does your facility here deal with a lot of young people? And you said you have a lot more of adults that come to this location, but other
Right.
locations, it's a bit of a mix.
So with our day programs, they're all for adults. So individuals leaving high school, so that could be 18 or 22. And gosh, some of our older adults may be in their 70s. It's mostly we have First Steps program, which is 0 to 3. So that's that early intervention piece. That's what's with kids only. And then summer camps is where we really help out the younger learners. And then with behavior services, music therapy, recreation therapy, that's where we can have those younger learners.
So for the summer program, approximately what age groups are you working with?
So I think, Diane Gann is over that, and I think age 18 is our cutoff, but I think we can accept kiddos as young as 6 or 8. And they're just for day camps. There's no overnight camps, but they have like dance camp, nature camp, cooking camp, just any type of camp you can think of. I used to lead the art camp, which was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I miss doing that.
Okay, and if people wanted to apply for this program, because summer is coming up quickly,
Mm-hmm.
what counties could apply for this summer camp program? Is there like a certain cap on the amount of people that can participate? What would the fee structure look like? And how would they apply?
So I would go to mynoblelife.org to learn more about our summer camps. We do have summer camp scholarships,
Okay.
which is really cool. Since I've not been fully involved in the camps, I'm not sure where all the locations are. I know we have several camps out of Orchard Park, which is 106th and Westfield.
Okay.
Where else have we had parks? Speedway location. There's a Speedway church there. And that's all I can really speak of in terms of the summer camps. But if you go to mynoblelife.org, they'll have all the information there for the camps and cost and age ranges.
Okay. And we will be including all this information and the side notes underneath the video. So you guys can catch us on YouTube as well as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But if you're looking for the links specifically, check on the YouTube site and we'll drop all those underneath.
Great.
Okay. So would you like to speak a little bit about your outside area with all the flowers and all of that area?
Yes, we do have a beautiful sensory garden area that is right here at our east side location. We have wonderful groups that come to volunteer their time to do the weeding and the planting and just taking care of getting the winter brushed off and refreshing the site. Individuals that are here at the East program can go out and take walks. We have a really large glider. I don't know if you saw it at the back.
Okay.
It's a 4-person glider.
Nice.
You just kind of step in and it's just this nice back and forth motion. There's areas that are paved, so persons who utilize wheelchairs can get out there easily. And music therapy will go out there and have sessions. Many times Wade, our CEO, will have meetings out there just to say, why not enjoy the space? We have it. But it's wonderful. It's really grown over time. When I got married back there, I feel really bad for the people that are like, oh, Molly's getting married back there. And like Chad and Wendy, who used to work here, went and used their own time and started weeding. And I was like, oh gosh, I thought it was fine the way it looked, but it's really come a long way since 2010. So it's
great.
absolutely beautiful.
And let's talk a little bit more about your musical therapy, because you gave me a short tour of that room and I was pretty impressed. And, as we spoke before, a little bit about the nonprofit that I do and the festival. So, I'm all about the music. So let's talk about that a little more.
Sure. So with our therapy programs, again, we have recreation, music, and behavior services. We are wanting to grow these 3 therapies. So right now we have one music therapist. He is fantastic. He comes from another organization and he has several years of experience. So he's mostly out in the community seeing persons at their homes. So in the music area, we do have a contract music therapist who does use that room. And over the years, we've just gained all of these wonderful instruments, from keyboards to djembe drums to like a drum set. And we have 2 pianos in there, electric pianos, a lot of wonderful instruments. And I think we even have a handbell set. So we just have a variety of things. So that is paid for through the waiver. Typically, your hours are based upon the budget that you have, along with other services that are also taking from that same a pot of money. But you, like a music therapist, can see a person usually one time a week for an hour, and it's highly individualized. So we may have one person who is all into classic rock, and if that's what they want to delve into and do that, that's fantastic. We also have the ability to, there's just a lot of just tech things where people can record their own music. It's whatever the person wants to do in terms of the music that they really, really enjoy. And even I worked with one young kiddo who had trouble in math, and the music therapist and he were able to come up with a math song to remember the times tables, and even learning how to tie his shoe, making a song about it. So it can be anything the person wants to be, all to the tune of music, which is just absolutely fantastic.
That's great. Well, my kids are big on music, so I imagine they may be seeing you soon at some point.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what you have in your lap.
Sure.
Because I know that you were all nervous about this podcast. I told them to relax. I said, look, it's supposed to be fun. And in fact, we will speak about our coffee cups, because in light of things being fun and funny. Little side note. I rarely get to do anything by myself. I'm a single mom and my kids just follow me. So I rarely even get to go to the toilet or get in the shower by myself. So this morning was a typical day in the Ziegler household, where I started to shower and then I ended up with 2 little minions in there with me. Well, these minions really love Halloween. And I like Halloween, so, I'm kind of proud that I passed that along to them. So for me and my cup today, we are talking about 1692 Witch City in Salem, Massachusetts. My children love Hocus Pocus. They can watch it all day long. My son refuses to wear basically anything but his Halloween or Christmas pajama pants. So for all of you that have specialized needs or specialized interests, this is the one that is the favorite right now in our household. So I'll let Molly speak a little bit about her cup.
Well, I brought 2 cups today. And because I'm representing an organization, I decided not to show my other cup because I have funny friends. And last Christmas, or 2 Christmases ago, one of my silly friends just bought me a coffee cup that just says butts, and it just had a little cartoon drawing of just a little behind that was kind of peachy in color. So I guess I should have just had it with me anyways, but now that I've described it fully. But Where the Wild Things Are is just a really sweet book, and my husband, dog, and cat, we love to have piles, just like they would have piles in the book. So that's our love language, is piles. So I just thought I'd bring my not so controversial mug.
Well, I think a lot of us can relate to piles, as I used to have furry children, and now I have the furless children, who are also generally in piles and sleep on me or near me. So I can appreciate where the wild things are.
Yes.
I think it's very appropriate for this kind of podcast.
Yes, piles are great.
Now that we had our comedic break to make you relax a little bit more, make it funny.
Yes.
Funny and fun. Let's talk about all of your stuff you have here in your lap.
Okay, so these are my cheat sheets. So we have programs for kids, adults, and for families, and I am going to use this as my prop. So we have early intervention therapy, so that's what we talked about. That's with kids only. Summer day camps, school to work transition, music, rec, and behavior services. For adults, we have employment services. We have News Crew, which they are at Cortiva and Siemens and Lilly. It's fantastic. Community.
What is News Crew?
News Crew. You would ask me that.
Of course I
would.
would.
Hold on a minute. You know, even though I've been here for 20
I don't
years,
expect
I
her
just
to
don't
read
know.
from the sheet, but I'm going to ask all the questions.
Hold on here. Let me. So it is called Noble Employment and Workforce Services. I don't think that's what it stands for.
Okay.
Pretty much they have, so we have a relationship with Lilly, Siemens, and Cortiva.
Mm-hmm.
Cortiva used to be Dow Agro. I could have that wrong. Anyways, we have small groups that do highly individualized jobs there.
Great.
So the relationship is wonderful. A lot of the individuals there are also taking on higher roles of being like a team lead of their group. So, I mean, just really great things, really great opportunities.
Well, the reason I'm asking these questions is because, sometimes when we are doing something and we're in a space, we don't think about all the acronyms and what they stand for. We just kind of assume that, because everybody in our space may know what they are. I'm just trying to spell it out a little bit for people that are unfamiliar.
Right.
Like myself.
Yes, we definitely, in this field, we speak in acronyms just very naturally. And even like HIPAA names. We have some people are like, so Lindsay and I, who are a couple of the BCs, we speak in HIPAA names very quickly. So that's the last four. So it's the first three of the person's name, the last four of their last name, and we can just say that easily like it's a word.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, oh, that's a funny way, but it keeps the the HIPAA thing alive, and we're not disclosing any personal information.
Mm-hmm.
So then we also have residential as well, so community living. So that's where individuals can live in their own home, and we supply the staff to work there, 24-hour staff.
That's actually really amazing. Yeah. So that makes them independent and they can live on their own. Mm-hmm. So how does this work for people that have adult children that have the capacity and are interested in living on their own? Like, how do you go about applying for this or get yourself on a wait list?
So it's through the Med Waiver. So I think anyone who has not signed up for the Med Waiver, do that. Were you saying that there was a slight wait list for that? Now, it used to be a lot longer.
Yeah, so I think my children were officially on the waiver January 2023.
Okay.
I think, or maybe it was 2024. I'm gonna have to check because I'm also not great at the dates with that.
Sure.
But at that time, they told me it was at least a 2-year waiting period.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it used to be at one time 8 to 10 years.
Wow,
wait
that's
list.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
It's not okay. So calling the Bureau of Disability Services and getting on the Med Waiver. And with that comes a case manager and then how you want to use that waiver. Do you want to add residential?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to add day programming? Do you want to add any one of those therapies that we talked about? The Med Waiver allows you to, again, individualize those supports. And again, and I know we talked about this earlier, the Med Waiver is a lifelong service. Mm-hmm. So older parents think, well, what happens when mom or dad or auntie who has been taking care of the young adult, what happens after I pass?
Right.
It's these services that are there to continue supporting that person. And that's why it's good to find an organization that you've had great relationship, a long relationship with. Many of the individuals that I supported through the waiver, I was with them for 10 years. Mm-hmm. That's a really long time for one person to be, and it's hard to find that in this field. There's a lot of turnover, but there are a lot of organizations that have dedicated staff. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say Noble, like we have people that stay a very, very long time because we love what we do, we believe in what we do, and we don't want to leave the families that we work with,
would you say, obviously, we can speak more from our, our personal opinions.
Sure.
This is not an area that I'm as familiar with, but would you say there's an extreme shortage in this type of profession? Like that there's not enough people even out there to satisfy these positions to help the families?
Yeah, there is. And we really saw that change after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't return to work. I don't know what happened. And I think that showed us people can do more work from home. Just like there were jobs that came about that COVID showed us that work could be done at home and you can still get a paycheck. But yeah, there's always a shortage in this field. But I don't know. I mean, the people that do stick around a long time, that's wonderful, but it doesn't happen often.
Mm.
But
So I have a point with this
Okay,
question.
sorry.
I generally always
I
have a
don't know.
point.
I don't know.
If someone were interested in entering into this field, because there is a shortage,
Mm-hmm.
let's say someone that has some type of disability in their family that they are familiar with and they are comfortable in working in this type of arena because maybe they have someone in their family.
Sure.
How would just a normal civilian start to go down this path?
Mm-hmm.
Who would they call? Where would they apply to even become, say, a starter position to elevate themselves into that sort of position? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Like there are people in Indiana that have a knowledge base, like a lived knowledge base, that might be very interested in entering into this type of field. And how would they go about that?
Well, gosh, I mean, I wasn't in this field. I opened up the yellow pages, but we don't have
Right.
that anymore. So I would say reaching out to places like the Arc of Indiana. So you hear names in the disability community. Easter Seals Crossroads, that would be a place. Noble. We used to be Noble of Indiana. Now we're just Noble. I would just say that internet search. If I had done that back in 2001, I probably would have put social services, people with disabilities, and just see what would pop up. But also, now that you've learned about Noble, going onto our website and we have links to join our different services.
Okay, so you have open positions that people
Oh,
can apply
absolutely. Oh, is that where you were going?
Oh yeah.
I think
I mean,
missed
I
that
have
part.
lots of ways that I can approach these things.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, Noble is hiring.
Absolutely. Yes, we are. We are
Great.
hiring DSPs for
Great.
sure.
Well, sometimes I just like to give people the space to, kind of talk about things. Don't want to be pushy. I don't want to make it like, hey,
Don't want to be tense.
come and work at Noble. I'm not trying to say, everyone must come and work at Noble.
Yes.
But it seems like a decent place to work.
Absolutely.
People stay for a long periods of time. I've toured it. How would people, besides calling Noble, are there, you mentioned a church before. Are there a lot of churches and things like that you work with that could be spokespeople to say, hey, we've worked with Noble. They do good services. Are there other people like that people could reach out to in their communities to find out?
Oh gosh, like the places
About
that
you?
we've connected with, I guess. I mean, I hope that they're talking about us.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though.
yeah.
I think, good press is good press, and
Absolutely.
when you do good things, people talk about it. So sometimes we just kind of have to lead with that, like different places and different people that we've worked with that can also speak on our behalf.
Absolutely.
Anybody ring a bell?
No.
Okay. If you think of anybody, you let me know later. Well, I would just say this. I'm really excited about everything that I have seen at Noble. I was shocked. I come from a very rural area, and to my knowledge, there's nothing like this where I'm from. And there are not a lot of options for people when they age out of the system. So that's why I was really excited. And I'm a very visual person. I like to see and experience. And I would encourage you guys, if you're curious about Noble, people can come and tour, can they not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Come in here, step up to the front desk and say, hey, would you guys have time to give me a tour? Because I'd really like to see, hear, know more about what you're doing.
And we have more than one location. So we have a location up in Noblesville, Mary Rigg, we have a day program. And our Tibbs location, we did have sheltered work, but it was time that we just kind of closed that chapter, because really the main goal is persons who want to work, we want them working out in the community. So we do have a day program there, but we just have so many other programs that get people out into the community with the employment, with the summer camps, because we just don't stay in the facility.
Sure.
We go to the nearby parks and splash pads. It's all about inclusion and integration. You know, that's what we want. The sheltered work, that was very outdated, you know, and those folks can definitely contribute to society as a whole with what they do.
Well, listen, there we're hitting on a very interesting note here, because I feel very strongly about this, and a lot of the things that I do are all centered around this. You know, early intervention is key and best. Find out what resources are out there and available. Find out who to talk to. But most importantly, you know, find a way to get your children or the adults in your family out and socialize them. So I think it's really exciting what you were talking about getting people out into the community and socializing and finding out all the things that they can do. Because let's face it, you know, unless there's someone in your family or someone that you are close to that has some sort of a disability, it's not really in your wheelhouse, and that's okay. But it's important to know who to go to. It's important to pass that information around. You never know when someone may come into your orbit that has a child with Down syndrome or autism. I mean, maybe we can speak about that a little bit more. I mean, of the different types of conditions that you're seeing from children to adults that Noble is working with, what is the range of that?
Oh, all over. A lot of our older adults, we see behaviors and some diagnoses that we know that they came from that institutional setting, right? Because they're probably over the age of 60. They don't have those, just those self-protection behaviors, modesty, things like that. And then we have individuals that graduate from high school and will come to us. So we have persons with autism, Down syndrome, intellectual disability on varying levels, right? So it's just really all over. And as you get to know a person, of course, me as their behavior consultant, we get into more of those doctor's records. We will see more of things that you would see in a DSM, you know, like more breakdown of personality disorders, or even from, you know, schizophrenia, you know, but yeah, just really all over the map in terms of diagnoses.
Can we speak a little bit about the DSM, because I think that people are unfamiliar with what that is and how that serves.
Okay, so the DSM is in its 5th revision. So it's the DSM-5-TR, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual 5, yes. So it is just a helpful tool for persons who diagnose. So I have my LCSW, so I am able to diagnose, but not in this setting if I had my own practice. So psychiatrists, psychologists, nurse practitioners would use this book to diagnose a person, and with diagnosis then comes path of treatment and medication.
And that is the key. That is important. That's why I mentioned the DSM, because let's say you have a 2 or 3 year old child that, for whatever reason, you're just not quite sure they're meeting their milestones. So I would recommend first, reach out to First Steps, because there is an age window for that too. It's 3, right?
0 to 3.
Right, so 3 is the maximum. If your child is 3.5, then you can no longer participate in First Steps. If you see something in your child that you're like, you know, I'm just not sure, right? Who would, like a normal parent, maybe let's say, you know, this is their first child, and the child is 2 years old, and they're just thinking, you know, I'm not sure, but there just seems like something in my gut is telling me there's something just a little different. Who would they even reach out to find out? Like, how do they go about that?
So initially, the parents will have that conversation with the general practitioner. So the general practitioner and the parents have this conversation. And then assessments can be made. So either the general practitioner can complete those assessments, or they will be referred to a place who can do different type assessments for autism, for different types of learning disorders, if there is any. But really just starting there, usually with the PCP, primary care physician, is where they start that conversation.
And then the physician
Can have different resources.
Okay, so how does First Steps then find out about this child and this parent?
So that would be most likely the referral from the doctor, or word of mouth too. Parents just know, hey, we went through First Steps and that really helped my child with their building blocks to learning. So yeah.
So I'm trying to break this down to, like, you have no knowledge whatsoever. You have no knowledge whatsoever. If you reach out to First Steps on your own, can you do that?
You can.
Yeah.
You can. You would have, so again, the internet is a great resource.
Right.
211 is what Indy has for resources. So you could call 211 and just say, I need early intervention for my child, and they would give you those resources. Again, I think just going on to doing an internet search would bring that up, and Noble would be brought up under that umbrella for early intervention.
So if someone were to call Noble even, let's say they watch this and they're like, you know what? I've got a 2.5-year-old that I'm just not sure about. They could call Noble and you could point them in the right direction.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that seems like a plan then.
Seems easy enough. I did want to continue. So we have the day services. We also have respite services. So for respite services is a service through the waiver. It cannot be used while a parent works. So this would be on a Saturday, on a Tuesday, someone comes to pick up your child or young adult and takes them out to do fun things. So it's just caregiver relief, which is really important. And you can maybe speak to that with having 2 minions in the shower with you at 6 o'clock this morning. Sometimes mom or dad needs a break.
Right, yeah, so we are on the waiver wait list.
Yes.
So I wouldn't even know what that looks like yet because I don't get a break. The only break that I get is when they're in school, which luckily for me, I happen to run into a good doctor that pointed me down the right path.
That's great.
And expedited the process a little bit. Plus I am probably also just a very tenacious person, and I don't really take no for an answer. I'm sure you can probably figure that out by now. But the reason that I'm breaking it down for all of you is I don't want my my viewpoint or my journey to influence you in any specific way. There need to be other resources. So that's why I'm breaking it down the way that I am and letting her tell you, like, hey, if I have no knowledge whatsoever, I think there's a lot of people in that realm that they have no idea what to do. I was also there. I was just lucky enough to have a physician that was assigned to my first child after he was born. So luck or fate, I don't know. But luckily for my family, she was assigned to us. And then she was the one that ended up doing my first son's evaluation. So by the time the other two came about, I had a very clear resource to go to. Not every doctor does these autism assessments, for example.
Right.
And not every doctor or nurse practitioner may have that knowledge base to even identify certain things unless they're severe enough that most people could identify them anyway. So pointing people down routes of identifying people that can really help them is important, because if you don't know where to start, it gets really frustrating really fast, and a lot of people will give up because, let's face it, we all have other things to do. And it's just so crucial that these kids, if you can identify it before they're 3, they need services now. So that's the whole point of this podcast, is finding people like Molly and other people in the community that are these resources that you can speak to, that are tangible, that maybe if you can't get a hold of somebody on the phone or through email, that you can Google them, like she says, find an address and show up with the kid if you need to. Just be like, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I need someone to help me.
Yeah. And I mean, if your physician himself or herself doesn't know, someone in that conglomeration, with its IU Health or community, someone knows, so just going down to the main desk and asking someone else for any resources, because they have them,
What else do you have here?
I have a lot of things.
I know we're going to talk about all the things.
So we also have advocacy training. We have the Center for Family Leadership. That's where, and this is very important, this is where we connect families who have, so all the families have have children or adults with disabilities, and we offer trainings. So we've done trainings on puberty, we've done trainings on after high school, now what, just the different job opportunities that persons with disabilities have. So it's very important that we connect families to families, because that support network is also very important.
So maybe a little bit controversial, but I'm going to ask it because I think it's important. You mentioned dealing with puberty. Do you have any programming that maybe deals with sex ed for people?
No, I think I have heard, is it IARCA, so Indiana Resource Center on Autism?
Okay.
They may have done those.
Because I think that's an important thing to do.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we all need to learn about consent, but just being realistic. Once your young adult hits puberty, these are normal conversations that people have. So we also need to know who to have these conversations with.
Yes.
I didn't know if you guys did that.
So typically it's been in my field, the behavior consultant who ends up having those conversations. So when we're talking about, I've worked with kiddos since they were very young to when they start puberty. So bathing, sometimes it's a sensory issue.
Right.
So we kind of have to tackle, what is the sensory issue? The shower is too much for Johnny, for his face, for his shoulders, for his skin. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. So bathing actually works better. And then with that comes the deodorant, how to apply that and when, and just all of that, because all of that is kind of falls under that behavior realm. And then we even get into stranger danger, talking about that as well. So, yes, you see the mailman every day, but that's not someone who you can possibly trust, without mom and dad. It's usually the behaviorists that kind of tackle those situations, because it's finding interventions that are usually visual to kind of help the child get through that.
Well, I just thought it was an important thing to talk about.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of things that maybe make people uncomfortable to talk about, but are important things to discuss.
Yes.
So that's the only reason why I put you on the hot seat.
No, yeah, and it's
Sorry
fine.
about that.
And remember, it takes a lot to shock me being in this field.
I think about any of us, it takes a lot to shock, but
absolutely.
These conversations are important and worth having.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we covered this one.
We covered, and the other one is just, and I would like all the viewers to have access to this. So this is our services. It's front and back, and it has all of the services that we offer the persons at Noble. That so again, from community employment to day hab to the therapies to summer camps, school to work programs, pre-employment, family support network, the Center for Family Leadership, and then advocacy through the ARC, which is for everyone and open to all. So the ARC of Indiana is also another great place to go for resources.
Okay.
And special needs trusts and things like that. The ARC of Indiana can be very helpful with navigating that as well.
Okay.
Don't ask me. That's not my strong suit. I have my niches, I think the audience will know what is and what isn't.
Well, as we're wrapping up, I have an important question for you.
Okay.
I basically ask everybody this question. So, if people are going to walk away from this podcast and all they get is, here's this lady that I heard, and they don't remember a lot of it, what would you like them to walk away with? Like, for example, who are you? What is it about Molly Lang that you would like people to take away from this podcast?
Oh gosh.
And that's a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one. Well, I guess first off, the base of my everyday role is to help. I may not have all the answers, but doggone it, I will find you the answer. I'm a social worker, so social workers I feel by nature and by drive and by compassion, we just want to help and find that answer for individuals. Also, I'm a Noble employee and have been for a very long time, so I feel that my dedication is there to this community, and I want those of you who may be on the other side of this camera feeling like you're struggling and lost and you don't know what to do, call me. I could give you my number and just call, because we can work it out. There have been many times where someone called looking for somebody else, and I'm that one helping them, or I'm that one in the store where my husband's like, what, do you have like offer help on your forehead? Because I get people that stop me in the stores. My mom says I have a kind face, and that is why. But I'm just a helper at heart, and I just want everybody to have access to those resources for their children, for their loved ones, because they deserve it. And I want that accessibility to be better. And I know it's confusing out there. So you have one name, you have Molly Lang at Noble, and I'd be happy to help you.
Well, I think that's probably a good place to roll it up then. Thank you so much, Molly. We really appreciate you coming. All of the resources that she has here, we will definitely include them. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can always reach out to me. And remember to like and subscribe. And please feel free to pass this around to anyone that you think would be helpful. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
We are at a pivotal point in American history. We do not have the luxury to remain silent. Programs are disappearing every day. We hope that this podcast raises awareness and sparks a sense of advocacy in you. We all can make a difference. The important thing is to start. See you next time.